In this life, we all have questions. You have questions, maybe you're wondering why I can't get ahead. Why do all my relationships tend to fail? Why does such and such keep happening to me over and over again? Difficult questions to answer, but once you ask them, you engage your mind to think, to come up with answers to your questions. Well, that's your first mistake. So what's the best approach to answering these questions? Well, we're going to answer that question here in this video. Yes, so when we ask those difficult questions like, why can't I be happier? Or why does this and that always keep happening to me? As soon as we ask those questions, we engage our mind to think up the answers. Thinking that that's the only way we can get an answer is through thinking. Now, obviously, our mind is a great tool and it can come up with many answers for practical questions. Question like, well, how many days till Christmas? Well, you can figure it out through thinking, looking at a calendar. But other questions can't so easily be answered by thinking. So if you do ask a question like, why can't I be happier? Or what would make me happier? Your mind immediately does go into action and starts coming up with various solutions. Now, when many of those solutions don't turn out to be the answer, your mind will come up with some self-limiting dialogue, which come through from self-limiting thoughts, and it comes up with the statement, I don't know. And at that point, the thinking mind closes the investigation. And if we accept that statement, we start engaging in self-judgment and come up with statements such as, well, I guess I'm just meant to be unhappy, or it's not possible for me to be happier. Well, this is just your mind talking. It's trying to hide from the fact that it doesn't have the answers to these types of questions. And we are then shut off from the experience of greater happiness. But the answers are always there. They're hidden in presence. Presence is always there. But the communication is blocked if we insist that the mind is the only vehicle by which we can get answers. But the mind is not the only vehicle for insights. And if your mind does not come up with the answers, don't close the case. Just stop thinking about coming up with answers. And let's consider changing our relationship with the way we respond to questions. Try this. Focus on the question rather than the answer. Just surrender to the question and be open to accept the answer from an aspect of ourselves that knows no time. This aspect of ourselves is a witness to everything and has answers without the need to think. If you accept your mind's self-limiting statements and leave these difficult questions unanswered, you'll find yourself deflected from the present, and you'll continually be drawn back into problems of the past and anxiety about the future. Now, as you go through this inward journey, many questions will arise, and focus on the questions and avoid thinking about the answers. Because when you focus on and think too much about the answers, many stories will come to your mind, and these stories will lack authenticity. They can offer some mental understanding, but knowing requires mental, physical, and emotional experience. So ask a question and let the answer come. Now, the answer may come not necessarily at a time you wish, but it will come at a time when it's required. Anything that happens has a cause and effect relationship. And when you ask a question, it creates a causality. The question is the cause and the answer is the effect. One follows the other. This cause and effect relationship will play out as long as you don't terminate the connection with self-limiting dialogue and behaviors. So you're invited to take this approach to any questions that may arise on your journey inward. Answers will come, But be comfortable in knowing the answers without knowing the why. Because many of the answers will be drawing on experiences you've had from your past, often experiences you had in your childhood, possibly from many experiences that you've actually forgotten. And some of the experiences may be from a time when you actually had no mental concept of the experience. So your only access to these things is going to be through a felt perception, not mind-made things. So invite yourself to receive answers rather than trying to get them.